Hey everybody, hi, welcome to Old Style Classics Baseball Cards, and I'm Rob. Video number 2, December 30th, 2023. It's now 2 in the morning, and got my eBays in today. I got 3 of them in today. 2 of them I got an email about. The third one I'm fairly certain is the one that I've been waiting for a couple since December 12th. That I emailed the guy from eBay about, and he was like, "Oh, I'll give you a refund. You keep the card." And that everyone's been having problems tracking since early this month that he sent out. So I believe that card came in. So thank God that came in. I'm glad it's not lost because that's a big card, a big one that we're gonna show all the boys. And I let them know. I sent them a message earlier, and so, but then we were busy watching TV and eating tonight, and had pork chops and asparagus and bread, and that was really good. And then we watched some last season of Alone, watched a few episodes there, did some other stuff. Thank God today is my Friday. What a long week. It was horrible. Uh, yeah, really mind numbing, I should say. But I got a 3-day weekend, so Happy New Year to everybody coming up. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and I guess that's really the holiday that most everyone pretty much celebrates. It's more about New Year's Eve than New Year's, right? Or that little switch over, that time in the middle of the night where everything switches over to a new year. But anyway, so the first set of stuff that I got from eBay was this complete set of Chef Boyardee. These you would have to buy like 5 or 10 cans of Chef Boyardee, take the labels off, and send it in with check or money order for a few bucks for shipping. They would send you this complete set of Oddball food issues, and I guess this is a premium food issue that you had to send away for, kind of like the Turkey Reds way back in the 1800s. So this didn't come with the actual product, you'd have to order it. And these came in a complete sheet, but they're perforated so you can break them apart. And you know, for the individual cards, so you didn't have to do any cutting yourself. You just have to break it apart from the card next to it, or above it, or below it, or whatever. And I had ordered a set, and as you've seen in my other video, the stuff I left at my brother's house, I have a complete set of these, but I never broke apart the sheet, so I never had my Andre Dawson card in my like binder or anything like that. So I was just gonna order this card for somebody who did break apart that sheet, and but the guy was selling these as a complete set for just like a couple dollars more than to get one of these. And it's not like a high quality card or highly valuable or anything like that. Maybe in 70 years or something some of these will be, like some of your caramel cards nowadays, but still, it's about 35 years ago. Yeah, I guess it was 35 years ago, since they're doing the 88 tops this year, 35th anniversary, and they're still not worth very much, a couple bucks, but who knows. But I wanted DeAndre Dawson, and it's my favorite oddball company that does cards, and that would be, oops, and this is mostly gonna go in the binder, so it doesn't have to be super high quality. Don't care what the grade would be or anything like that. This one didn't take a hit though, so it wasn't bent up like a few of these cards. So those complete sets in the sheet were hard to keep in good shape, unless you were like a card store or something like that. Come on. Doesn't want to focus. Alright. It's the company I like the best that did oddball cards. Sorry, Mangini. That's what everyone calls them, so I'm fine with that. There we go. See right there, MSA, Michael Schechter Associates. These have a very Topps kind of feel for them though. So I got this complete set. It's a 24 card set. It's got 12 Hall of Famers in there for like Junk Wax Hero. There's Jack Morris, one of his favorite guys. Ozzie, Gwynn, Ripken, Morrell, Parrish, Carter, Sandberg, Keith Hernandez, Kirby Puckett, Mike Schmidt, Frank Viola, Don Mattingly. Go ahead and watch the last video to see this whole set in detail. Dale Murphy, Mike Scott. So these are all the guys that did really good in '87. Henderson, excuse me. Jim Rice. What do you do in '87? Put my glasses on. Oop. I love MSA. I love oddball cards. He didn't have a great '87, so I don't know why he's in there, but Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens, and Fernando took a major hit, but that's okay. These are bonus cards for me because this is the card I wanted. Alright, so since I do love oddball cards, one of these cards that I got is the big one that the guys I let know that are coming in. And so I guess I should show you this card that all the boys and everybody's been waiting for that came from Missouri. Nah, I'll do that later. Come on, folks, don't think I'm going to do that. But this one here, now I haven't got into yet. This came in this giant package here. This is a complete set. This is also premium. Came from Berlin, Wisconsin. This is much like the Chef Boyardee cards, but a different company. It's not MSA as far as I know. I don't think it's Topps, but it is an oddball set, and it's something I'll be getting back to in a future date. Yeah, this was like $10. Alright. But one of the I'm gonna put this card up here so something's on the screen. And I'm gonna get a drink, folks. So, since I do love oddball cards, food issues and stuff like that, product issues, one of the cards that I always told you I always grew up loving old time baseball. Like all the stuff that you would see in Ken Burns was the stuff I loved way before even Ken Burns baseball came out. When I grew up, I loved baseball through the 80s and since, even going back to the 70s. Always been a Cubs fan from Chicago. Dawson's my favorite player even before he came onto the Cubs, so that was kind of weird. Then he ended up on the Cubs, so that's why he's my PC guy. But some of the cards that we got early on, we didn't have a lot of, when you were young in the 80s, early 80s, you were buying candy and playing video games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and all this stuff. So you didn't have a lot of disposable money. So a lot of the baseball cards I would get were like food issues. So like the 84 Roston Purina cards that came in Cookie Crisp. Those were like the cards that I would collect or pick up. Didn't have the money to spend on like packs of cards as much. So usually you would be like, get your mom to buy you some of this stuff, then you'd get some cards, or like the Big League Chew cards. But you would get the gum and a card, so the whole marketing thing worked on me. That way I wouldn't have to spend my money to go buy packs of cards. So I love oddball because it reminds me of like the tobacco card era and all that you would get cards with products. And one of my favorite product cards which is one of the things next on my list of big pre-war cards that I want to get, is Cracker Jack. So now Cracker Jack put cards out in like the early 90s, the little mini cards, not tobacco minis, but the minis. So they had a top set of the minis, like 34 cards, and then they did Dunross the next year, and then they have the throwback, like 1914, not a complete set, but like select like 34 or however 24 cards out of the original Cracker Jack cards, which is one of the cards I want to get. One of my new Grail cards would be the Ty Cobb out of Cracker Jack, 1914 or 15. But nevertheless, I love those Cracker Jack cards that came out like the 90s or any of that. But then I had seen that they had some in the 80s, and I was like, I don't remember that. And so I always kind of forgot about it, and I was like, I'll pick those up someday because I think they're kind of ugly. But then I was on eBay and I was like, oh yeah, those Cracker Jack cards. So I looked them up and I saw a couple of them for sale. And then I kept looking at them all until I found one that was acceptable. And then I researched it, and so much like these Chef Boyardees, where these didn't come with cans of ravioli or beefaroni, you would have to collect the labels and send in with shipping and handling, and you'd get this set. Well, the Cracker Jack's somewhere similar. It's kind of like a premium, but I don't think it had anything specifically to do with buying Cracker Jack, so to speak. Like, hey, if you buy these Cracker Jacks, you didn't get the card in the box. I think it was some convention or something like that. You could pick up like a voucher or something like that, I think is what it said. And then you would turn that in and they would give you a sheet of cards, and there was 2 different sheets of cards of these Cracker Jack cards. Kind of ugly, very dated, but something like that. I might be wrong, but I believe that's how you picked up these cards that I'm going to show you here in a minute. And so it's kind of like a premium. It's either like a premium, maybe you got a voucher and you sent in for it, or you picked it up at the convention or whatever the place was they were doing this at, and it was like sponsored by Cracker Jack or something like that. Maybe it was like a charity event or something. So it's somewhere in between. It's not with the product, and it's kind of like a premium, but I don't know if you had to send in for it or if they just handed them out at the event. So it's oddball. It's a product issue because it's Cracker Jack, but it may be more like a national convention card where you pick those up there. But still, it's oddball. It wasn't distributed mainstream like at PAX or something like that. So it's super cool, and it's some Hall of Famers. And I'm gonna open this. I'll pause you for a minute. Alright, so it was in that big package, and then it came with this. So protected it like that. And so the guy or the person I bought these from was selling it. There's an American League sheet, and then there's a National League sheet. So that's cool. Kind of came in its own little sleeve here. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of this plastic binder page that's just meant for one giant sheet. And so I don't know if these are numbered or not. Yes, they are. So the American League sheet is first, and it kind of goes backwards, so that might just be the way they're printed. And they do have a little cutout line, so you can cut them out hand cut, but they don't have the perforations like the other ones. So that is the Cracker Jack. 1982 Borden, so Borden used to own Cracker Jack. And so 1982 Cracker Jack, America's favorite snack, is pleased to provide this first in a series of limited edition cards, baseball cards, and many of these great players will play in the Cracker Jack Old Timers Baseball Classic. So I think that's the thing that these were given out for. So I do think the Old Timers Baseball Classic was a charity event. And so I might have to adjust this here, give you guys a little better look. So there you go. So, but card number 1's down here. So the Larry Dolby is 1, 2, 3. So it goes 1, 2, 3. It's just kind of all. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. It's in no particular order. It's just all over the place, people. The numbering system here. So I don't understand that, but nevertheless. So look at this. You got the Mickey. So I just didn't like the. It seems kind of dated to me to have the picture of the product, you know, like an actual picture of the Cracker Jacks on there, like the real Cracker Jacks. It's kind of dated. It kind of reminds me of like seeing a restaurant that has a picture out front of their menu showing some food, and it's just like a generic picture, like it's some Chinese restaurant or something, and the sun faded or whatever. But the Mickey Mantle seemed to be in pretty good shape, so I was mostly going for this and the other Cub on the other sheet. But you look at this, you got Mickey Mantle, so you can hand cut these out, and people have. And I was going to get the other card, and then I saw this, and I was like, well, I might as well just get the full set. Why not? Because I like the Cracker Jack cards from the 90s and the 2000s, which I'm going to get to at some point in time. I bet there's a lot of people who don't know about those other cards that Cracker Jack put out that wasn't those Topps, Dunross, or throwbacks to the 1914 set. They actually have more cards through the 2000s. So I'm going to do a whole Cracker Jack video at some point in time. So anyways, Mickey Mantle, Al Kaline, Tony Oliva, the great Harmon Killebrew. They got the Cracker Jack card, and people even sell that. Bob Feller. Well, like I said, you don't really get toys inside anymore. You get a sticker and a code. Mr. Whitey Ford. Brooks Robinson, rest in peace. And Larry Dolby. Larry Doby. So then we'll give you a look at the backs of these. So there you got the Mickey Mantle. Trust me, people, I'm wearing shorts. Alright, maybe that could focus a little better now. Alright. So it's just a neat little set. I mean, it's not great, but it's got some nice names on there, and I kind of like these throwback cards, and I like the oddball nature and premium nature of these. So there's Mickey Mantle if you want to read about him. Harmon Killebrew, Whitey Ford, you can read about them. Brooks Robinson, the Cracker Jack. Remember, it's Cracker Jack, not Cracker Jacks. So when you're singing the song, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. Al Kaline. Well, basically all Hall of Famers here. Tony Oliva, there you go. Cuban, right? Yep. So, Collector's Dream. I'm sure he's got this card because he likes Tony Oliva. And all the Cuban cards, I'd love to get me a Cuban card or some cards from Mexico or even those Venezuelas, because I love oddballs and other country issues. Bob Feller, Larry Doby, with classic Cracker Jack and his little dog. I can't remember the dog's name right now. Sailor, I think, something like that. And the card I was originally going for Bob's Burger going on in the background here. Was the Ernie Banks. So got me the Ernie Banks now. Now I still would like to have it uncut. So much like this, I own the uncut, even though it's just perforated, sheet of these cards, and I always wanted that to be in my binder, but I didn't want to break apart my card, and I'm not going to cut these up. So it's still, if I ever came across one for a few bucks, like at a card show or something, I'd probably buy that. I'd probably buy any of them if they were reasonably priced. Let somebody else do the cutting if they did a good job. Because you know the grading standard, you have to have some of that black line. So these would, you'd really have to be like right in the middle of that black line, so each card had some. So Lawrence Mann, there you go, Pirates man. So Mangini and you guys, Ralph Kiner, Duke Schneider, the Cracker Jack card, Mr. Willie Mays, there you go, Rick Oddball, vintage oddball collector. I don't know if that's vintage enough for you. I wonder if Rick has this card because he loves the Giants. Then Hammer and Hank Aaron. There you go. Myco, I think. Phillies. Robin Roberts. And then the great Mr. Eddie Matthews. So, cool set. I think it's neat. Adjust this back down again. So let's get this out. Let it refocus here. Alright. So read about Ernie Banks and Ernie and Willie Mays sitting there together in pretty decent shape. So you got Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron all in a row. So wouldn't you like to have that lineup? Talk about having an all-star team. Alright, Robin Roberts. It's 289 wins, 25 saves. So he's involved in over 300 wins. That's the way I consider it. If you got saves, then you're a part of a win. So I give them some credit. It's kind of like maybe a half win or something like that, quarter win, to add on to the person's overall totals if they were a starting pitcher for the most part. Then if you were a relief pitcher and you had some actual starting wins, then I would give them a little more credit. So Ralph Kiner for the Pirates, Duke Snyder, Brooklyn Dodgers, Eddie Matthews. So these were from Topps. So Topps did print these for him. So yep, definitely has a Topps feeling to it. So there you go. Topps and Cracker Jacks got together in '82 to do this commemorative set that they gave out, or that you can get, that had to do with this game that they were going to do, this charity game. So it's somewhere between a product issue, a premium, and or like a giveaway at like a convention, but it would be more of a charity set. So technically they didn't come in the Cracker Jack, but it's not like the Cracker Jack cards that Topps put out early 2000s or like 2014 or whatever it was, that were an actual set of cards that you could buy at the hobby shops, open packs. So that I wouldn't consider a product issue. It's just a product labeled, like the Bazooka cards that they do. They did the same thing with Bazooka, or like the Bazooka bags. It's obviously not a Bazooka card like the Bazooka cards in the 90s that you would get in the box of Bazooka gum. So that's super cool. I dig that. And I don't think they're the best looking cards, and honestly I don't think Topps does the best job when it comes to doing these oddball food issue kind of stuff. But it's just a neat set. It's a neat checklist, and yeah, I'm glad to have that, you know. So it's right up my alley, this kind of stuff that I dig. I know there's none of them during their playing careers, and I don't have an issue with that. I just like oddballs, and I'll take oddballs with Hank Aaron on it, Eddie Matthews, or I'll take oddballs that had Eric Davis or Eric Show. I don't care, you know. So there you go. So I did finally get another oddball, kind of like what Mangini does, trying to get one card from all those vintage sets. Well, I like to try to get at least one card from the oddball sets that came out during my lifetime, so through the 70s, 80s, and 90s and beyond. And this is one of the ones that I never had, and I've only seen pictures of, never seen any of these in person. And so not only did I get one, which is what I was going to do here, I got the whole set. So American and National League, 2 sets. And I mean, come on, you got Mays, you got Aaron, you got Banks, you got Mickey Mantle, you know. Hard to argue with these guys. If it were me, I'd take the National League team, to be honest with you. If I was playing a game, I'd rather have these guys. No offense to these guys, but so there you have it, folks. Now, I do have this other special card that I got from eBay, you know, family photos and love grandpa. But I'm already at 26 minutes, so maybe I'll give you guys a break and give those guys one more chance to call in before I open this, because I'd hate for them to miss out. So I'm going to sign off, and I'll do a third video. So I don't know if I got any eBays coming in today, Saturday. Thank God I'm off on Monday, but probably will only do another video after this next one if I get anything in the mail today. But who knows, maybe I'd go to the store. Alright folks, thanks for watching Old Style Classics Baseball Cards.